Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I said welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Port Hueneme, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Morning.
Morning.
Prano's rocking that winter hat today,
right.
fam.
That's right. Shout out Trevor. Rest in peace, Trevor. Well, I told you this morning, or I told you when we hopped on here. It's cold when you come out to the shed first thing in the morning, 6 a.m. Sun hasn't even really come up yet. I got shorts on that I got some sweat shorts on that I like. Wear to bed. So I threw those back on this morning. Grabbed a hoodie, grabbed a sweatshirt, cup of coffee. Came out here to start setting up, and I was like, it's fucking freezing in there. And I was like, I could probably, put on long pants or blah, blah, blah. I was just like, let me grab a hat, cup of coffee, head out to the shed. The good thing is the shed is small. So I imagine just the heat from my voice and the foster puppy who's asleep on the couch right here. I feel like we'll heat this little shed up fast. Maybe I can shed the shed hat by mid-episode, but we'll see.
You're a space heater, man.
Well, that's the other thing. When you and I used to do these shows from here, I guess it'd be like I moved in last November. So last like November, December, January, maybe even into February, I had a little space heater, which I still have. I just haven't broken it out of the garage yet. So when I got up this morning, I was like, I can use that space heater in there. Yeah, because what I would do is I'd come out here and set up and turn the space heater on. Such a small room. By the time I came back with my cup of coffee, settled into the podcast, I could turn the space heater off. But I got to figure out where the space heater is. I think it's in the garage. It's somewhere.
Well, we are in that time, man.
It's that time of year.
Yeah. Thanksgiving is right around the corner, which I said yesterday, probably one of my favorite holidays. And if we're going to do underrated, overrated, I think Thanksgiving is underrated.
I feel like we've had this conversation. I 100% agree. I think it might be my favorite holiday. I'm trying to think what's better for me than Thanksgiving. I'm like a Christmas season guy, but I'm not a huge Christmas guy. It's like I'm not anti-Christmas. There's a religious, obviously, aspect of Christmas that kind of gives it a bad, I don't like that aspect of Christmas. Halloween used to be up there. It's lost its flavor now that, Sexy Moodang's out on October 11th.
I don't know if this was a Halloween thing. I thought of you. I was shopping Saturday night at my local Kroger grocery store, and there was a full couple in costume. And I thought, okay, it's November 9th. Are you just going to some part? But I'm talking like full makeup. It wasn't like, it looked to me, I was getting the vibe it was Halloween. And I was thinking, are you guys at a Halloween party on November 9th?
Yeah.
Unless you're just going to some, like he had the fake blood on his face. You know what I'm saying? It was a full outfit.
You're not allowed to host some sort of costume themed event in November either. Like you could do a masquerade ball or whatever, but you can't do it like within 10 days of Halloween.
Yeah. So I almost wanted to ask them, but the truth is I felt like they were on drugs, and there's some sketch people kind of.
They're just still out from Halloween.
Because they also didn't have a grocery cart or the
you saw actual zombies.
That's what I'm saying.
That was the undead.
They didn't have a grocery
Andy's like
cart.
they were walking around the grocery store covered in blood without groceries, going. Yeah, the zombie outbreak has started at Kroger in Cincinnati.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure. I really want to know.
You saw Freddy Kroger.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was going on there. I was like, you guys attending a Halloween thing on November 9th? But I do think Thanksgiving it might be my favorite too. I don't know. The problem with Christmas is there's so much, especially now when you start having a family, it's just such a thing. And also you have your own family. You got to go to the in-laws. You got to go, you know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
it's not really relaxing.
Yeah. I wonder how my parents felt about Christmas, because Christmas growing up, I mean, I think Christmas is a lot of kids' favorite holidays because of the gifts, but it was my favorite holiday growing up, not because of the gifts, but we kind of did a family rotation of holidays. Like my aunt and uncle in Jersey hosted Thanksgiving every year. My aunt on Long Island hosted us for Easter every year, but our house hosted Christmas. So for us, it was get up in the morning, you're in your pajamas, gifts, all the toys, all the things, breakfast, pancakes, blah, 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 blah. And then guests start going, you go upstairs, you get changed, which for us was like, go put on your Christmas best. It was like nice pants and whatever jersey I got for Christmas. So I'm coming down in like Joe Montana 49ers formal wear. I'm like, I'll match these like red slacks with this Joe Montana jersey. I'll match these khakis with this Patrick Ewing Team USA basketball jersey. But we hosted everybody. And so that was what was great. It's like we didn't have to go anywhere. But then, of course, I'm thinking about it like as I get older, I'm like, oh, my parents had to host. Like I didn't do any hosting. They had to have food and drink for 40 people.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I'm like, they probably hated Christmas. Christmas probably cost them fucking $25,000 every year.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to do, man. Forget that noise. Well, I want to hop into some football stuff. And I was thinking last night as I was looking at the rundown and thinking about some stuff to talk about or some takeaways from this week. Is it me or are we just really top heavy this year?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think I was thinking that the other day, because there's a lot of like good teams, and there was coming into this week, there was 6 2-7 teams or something like that, or 7 2-7 teams. Then the weird thing is when you think like you're top heavy is there was like a middle class. There was a lot of like 4-4, 5-4, 4-5. But what there's not like there isn't the there's not like a shotgun spray. There's like if somebody was shooting at a target, there's a lot of headshots, a lot of chest shots, and a lot of shots in the nuts. But there's not just like a shotgun spray. There's not like a couple teams who have this, there's not like a 0-win team, a 1-win team, a 2-win team, a 3-win team, a 4-win. It was like there's a bunch of 2-7 teams, there's a bunch of 500 teams, and then there's the couple teams that are the best teams in football.
But when I say top heavy, I mean like if we look at like who legit, and I guess you could say this every year, who legit has a chance to make a Super Bowl and or win a Super Bowl.
Well, that's why I think I'm agreeing with you in that, like, you go from the very few teams down to like, are any of these 500 teams like making a run? Probably not, whereas like in the past you have that team that's like a couple games off the thing, like that 11-win team, that 10-win team, that whatever, like where you're like, they're sneaky.
Yeah. No, I that's what I'm saying. It's like, especially when you look at like the AFC, there's going to be a really shit team that's going to make the playoffs. I don't know if you looked at
Yeah.
the standings, but it's like
Yeah.
after the Chargers, who are 6-3 and currently a 6 seed, your 7 seed right now is the Broncos at 5-5.
And then the Bengals are after them, right?
It's the Colts and the Bengals, but they're
Yeah.
both 4-6. My point is,
Yeah.
one of those 3 teams, most likely, the Broncos, Colts, or Bengals, is going to make the playoffs, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that was such a huge loss for the Broncos yesterday.
The Chiefs are inevitable. Like you get to them lining up the kick, and you're like, oh, there's their first loss. And even I was in my head, I was going like, do they block it? Do they just miss it? Is this getting the dink?
How did that many guys? It's a 35-yarder. How did that many guys get through? It was a full on jailbreak.
Yeah. There was that. Did you see the Alvin Kamara drop late in the Saints game?
I didn't see that.
There was a wide open Alvin Kamara drop. Like he slowed down. Like he went into like easy peasy cruise control. It hit him clean in the hands and he dropped it. That play and the jailbreak on the Chiefs Denver final kick, I was like, that's 2 plays today where I was like, make it make sense other than they're taking money.
Yeah. Well, it's so crazy that they just keep finding ways and different ways to win.
Now,
And
we don't have a undefeated Super Bowl team ever, except for, since CTE was a thing. Like the Dolphins, I know the Dolphins are popping champagne for their like 14 game season every year or whatever, but we don't have that. That Pats team, obviously they lose the final game. That you remember the Colts team that sat their guys and didn't go to the, remember that? What was that? 2011? No, 2011 would have been the Giants here. 2010.
I forgot. Did they sit when they were already undefeated?
Yeah, they were like 14-0,
13-0 or something.
13-0, 14-0. Then 2011 Packers went 15-1, right? When they lost to the Giants.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Carolina went 15-1. Like we don't have an 18-1 Super Bowl champ. We don't have it. Do we have an 18? Do we have a 17-2 Super Bowl champ? Like, I don't know. I guess the question is like I guess here's my question for you. Do you think the Chiefs could go undefeated and win the Super Bowl?
No.
You don't think you think it's 0% chance?
I'd put it under 1%.
Under 1%. Okay. And now, if the Chiefs went undefeated in the regular season, do you think that helps or hurts their chances of making the
Hurts.
Super Bowl? Okay. What is the perfect number of losses for the Chiefs if they want to win the Super Bowl? They lose how many games total for the year? Obviously, you can't lose any in the playoffs.
Well, I think in a 17-game season, you lose 2 or 3 games. Now, here's the thing.
If you go 15, I think that would be the most wins ever in an NFL season. If you won 15 regular season games and then
most games to win that also won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
15 games. Yeah, I don't know. Why don't I just Google it real quick? Most regular season wins to win the Super Bowl.
Because obviously that team has a bye.
Yeah. Well, I knew this was going to not make it an easy one to find out.
Yeah.
It's just popping up I put in most regular season wins and Super Bowl winner. And of course, it's giving me everything I don't want.
Well, you could do a list of most regular season wins in an NFL season and get a list.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think it's better to lose a couple. Like yesterday would have been a totally fine loss in a division game, a team that had played pretty well defense all year. I think those are good losses. Now, look, they head to Baltimore. Or I'm sorry, they head to Buffalo next week.
Yeah,
that'll be a tough one.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's a bad thing if they lose. Now, if they do lose, then they're only a game up on the Bills, and the Bills would own that tiebreaker.
Bills are more susceptible to losing a game they shouldn't than the Chiefs, if you ask me.
I agree. So I think it's good to lose. And we know it's also about when are you hot? When are you going on run? You want to go on run later, not early. That's so important. So
yeah, because I mean, I guess the situation you don't want to be in. Although if there's any team that I'm not worried about, it's the Chiefs.
I agree.
The Chiefs are the only team I wouldn't be worried about. Go 15-0. Have rest for the last 2 weeks because you've locked up the 1 seed. Then you get a bye. I don't know, Mike. They haven't played a meaningful game in a month. I don't think am I worried? I'm not. That's the one team I'm not worried about.
So prime example, the Lions won 7 in a row. Last night would not have been a bad, last night, if I'm a Lions fan, I go, okay, that's not a bad loss in the middle of the regular season on the road, Sunday Night Football in Houston. I feel the same way about the Lions. You don't want to go in there 15-1. I'm sorry, or 16-1.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Lions game because I think that there's, I'm sure Lions fans are like, when everything doesn't go your way and your back's up against the wall and you still win, that is the definition of grit. And then there's, quote unquote Lions haters. Again, need to remind you, I don't hate the Lions. Absolutely no reason to hate the Lions. Have literally no feelings about the Lions franchise. So I could be a Lions realist. I could be a Lions truther. I could be a Lions whatever. And I didn't check this morning, was the Andy Ruther, Jared Goff versus bad defense versus Jared Goff against a good defense, Game of Thrones, disgusting old lady boobs tweet put out last night?
No, it wasn't, but I really put the Ruther stink all over him when I said he's a low-key MVP candidate last week, and I said nobody's talking about it. And then he throws 5 interceptions, and a lot of those interceptions were bad interceptions. We all know there's a difference. Like the Hail Mary at the end of the half.
Yeah.
Whatever. You can just scratch that off. I don't really care. But I'm saying a lot of those interceptions were bad. And
by the way, Lions fans, that's how you know Andy Ruther's low-key a Lions fan this year. He did not break out the old lady Game of Thrones meme.
Don't tempt me. I can bust that out there in the Monday Night Football game tonight. There's still time during this week. Don't tempt me. But if I'm a Lions fan, I am scared because last night, least
Jared Goff completes 120% of his passes against bad teams, and then completes 47% of his passes, or 60% if you include the ones he completes to the other team against good defenses.
They've played a lot of good teams. I mean, look, he looked great against Green Bay. It's not even about good and bad teams. To me, it's a bigger question of when it comes to Goff. First half, they couldn't run the ball, and that's the question: is come playoffs. You've seen that with Lamar for sure. It's like, if you can't run the ball, can your quarterback make up for that?
Well, and I know I'm the world's greatest Russell Wilson hater and whatever, but if you look at Jared Goff on the on the Rams, what he did in that regular season when he was low key, high key, an MVP candidate, and then what Bill Belichick and the Patriots did to him in the Super Bowl. When you're running the ball, this goes for our boy Russell Wilson too. When you're running the ball, it sets up the play action, and suddenly you're one of the great deep ball throwers in NFL history. Yeah, running the shit out of the ball moves guys up into the box, and all of a sudden, it's a lot easier to throw downfield. It's a lot easier to get guys open. Jared Goff, the year he went to the Super Bowl with the Rams, they were a play action machine. Do the play fake, look downfield, throw it to your one read. That was Jared Goff. And they beat a Chiefs team that has gone on to be a dynasty 54-51 in that game that we went to in the Coliseum. Their offense was legit. Then Bill Belichick was like, cool, we're not going to fuck with this zone bullshit. I'm going to go cover zero, come at you, put guys on man-to-man, and you're going to score. I always say it's 6 points. Was it 3 points in the Super Bowl?
It was 13-3.
Yeah, I always think it was 13-6 for some reason. But 3 points to 0. The thing about Houston is a good team. Are they an elite team? Not quite yet. And CJ Stroud looked great last year. They have 2 receivers out. But regardless of that, the way Houston makes a run is because Houston is a defensive football team first, with a defensive head coach that's calling the defensive plays on the sideline and is scheming against your offense. And Jared Goff threw 5 terrible picks. But so I guess take deep Goff loads, but he's literally not a MVP candidate anymore because he's thrown more interceptions than probably MVPs have thrown in a season yesterday.
Well, look, he definitely, that conversation out the window. But you have to give them credit. They were down 23-7. They win the game. They don't give them any points in the second half. I mean, as a team win, I did think that showed me a lot about them. That's a tough comeback to have. And the old Lions are not doing that. So I'm not saying it's better to lose. No, if you're a Lions fan, obviously you want to win. All I'm saying is I think you've won 7 in a row. At some point, it might not hurt to lose. And obviously they will lose a game or two. But you look at the NFC. I mean, who else are we talking about? I guess the Packers are still lurking, but again, they looked bad last week. Sam Darnold, Sam Darnold, talk about another bad game. Sam Darnold almost lost to Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Sam Darnold throws 3 interceptions. Sam Darnold doesn't look good.
I think they lost 2 games, nearly lost 3 of 4. Sam Darnold has turned back into a pumpkin since you called them Super Bowl contenders. Like you just walk around. You're like in Catholic church. Remember when you're a kid and the priest just has the holy water and the weird thing that sprites everybody with it?
Yeah.
Like you just walk up and down the aisles throwing the Ruther curse out of a little fucking reverse holy water spray. And you're like, oh, did you get a little bit on you? Say goodbye to your Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, I'm really ruining some franchises and teams this year. So my point is, there's the Vikings, there's the Packers. I know your opinion on Philly. Philly's now 7-2. They've won 5 in a row. Who are they beating is the question.
What do you mean? Who are they beating?
My point is, like, they're not really beating good teams. I'm not sold on Philly yet, but I'm asking the question right now. Outside of the Lions, which are the clear front runner right now in the NFC, are we going to put Philly in that sphere? Are we going to put the Niners, who in my opinion still don't look good? They just don't look. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey comes back yesterday. Debo's on the sideline fighting the long snapper, which is one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. Never seen anything like that. one of your star players fighting the long snapper because your kicker keeps missing field goals. But I'm not putting the Niners in there either, Joe. My point is, who are we putting after Detroit in the NFC right now to make a possible Super Bowl run? What two teams?
I mean, I honestly, I don't know. It's you got to think that. Yeah, I mean, you got to think as bad as the Niners have looked, that they're still going to be dangerous in the playoffs, right? If they are to get there, because they get healthy, it all comes together. Like, that's the definition of the team that you just talked about. That's like, oh, get hot. You want to be a team that gets hot. I haven't seen any proof from the Niners that they're going to get hot, but like historically, we have to think, oh, they get healthy, etc. They come together. So it's like, do I think that the Niners are better than the Eagles right now? No, but would I take my chances that the Niners, would I, like, come playoff time, if the Niners are in, I'd bet on them, it's really tough. I think you got to look at, I think in order of teams, I believe in the NFC, it's obviously, the Lions are up there first, but like after that, then you start getting into situations like, do I like the Commanders getting hot? Like, I mean, I know they lost yesterday, but they lost yesterday against a really good defense. Like, they're right there. Is it too early for them? Are the Cardinals sneaky? I don't know.
Well, look,
I like the Commanders more than I like the Eagles. I'll just say that.
Okay, I don't. I disagree there. I think the Commanders I think they're too young.
I think I believe in them in terms of the, like, come playoff time, you always get, in every sport, you're like, where'd that team come from? And it's like, that guy just puts you on the map.
Texans
and
last year, CJ Stroud.
Yeah, it's that moment where it's like the casual football fan finds out about Jaden Daniels in like round 2 of the NFL playoffs.
So I watched that whole game yesterday. It was a fun game, that Pittsburgh-Washington game. And the truth is, Pittsburgh's defense didn't play as well. Now, you just took a dig at Russ. Russ's deep ball has looked great. It's back, baby. It's back. That was a nice ball he threw to Williams at the end. It looks good. So far,
I love the Russ's deep ball is back take.
Oh, it's back, baby. It's back.
Well, why was it gone?
He lost his touch for a minute.
He lost his touch.
His touch was off.
That's what we're going with. He had too many. He had the sauce from the Danger Russ on his fingers for 2 full seasons.
His accuracy was not good in Denver.
You realize I explained this to you 6 minutes ago, right?
Yeah. Did you watch the game yesterday?
Yeah.
Did you watch the game?
Yeah.
The run game was not that good yesterday. It was a struggle. I mean, they weren't running all over him, is what I'm saying. Russ, I know we're doing this again, and I know we're doing it right now. Will you agree the move to Russ? And even I'm surprised. I was not a fan of it as well. Their offensive production has greatly increased.
Sure, but and that's the thing. I don't think anybody thought Russ was going to run a less explosive offense than Justin Fields. I think the question was always,
why mess with it if you're 4-2?
Yeah. And I still think like it's a weird move when you haven't lost. Like the answer's right there. You always have this guy waiting in the wings for when your offense starts to stall. Listen, great move if it works out, as far as the Steelers go, are you a Steelers believer now because of Russ? All of a sudden you're like, the Steelers could take down the Bills, the Steelers could take down the Chiefs. The Steelers are
Well, here's what's interesting about the Steelers. They do have a great defense now. Who got hurt yesterday? Highsmith.
Yeah.
Who's one of their good players on defense who got? Is that his name? Did I say it right? Regardless, the linebacker who got hurt. That could be a huge loss for them. But their D is looking good. You know, I don't know. I know that they have a gauntlet of a schedule. Their last 7 games. Like, good luck is what I'm saying. You got, I believe they have to play Baltimore twice, the Bengals twice, the Chiefs. Like they have. I mean, that's 5. That's going to be 5 dog fights right there. So I don't know. I just know. Let me put it this way: if their defense can play really well, I think they could beat anybody. Same way with the Bills. But I'm not ready to put them right there. Like if you asked me right now, I'd say
better chance of making the Super Bowl, the Ravens or the Steelers?
I'm trying not to let my Russ bias creep in. But here's the thing with Russ. Russ, again, if he has a defense, he normally is not going to make a terrible throw. That, to me, that's the difference between him and Lamar. Obviously, Russ doesn't have the accolades. He doesn't have the career. He doesn't have the MVPs. I think that helps. Don't you agree with that?
Yeah, listen, I'm not the world's biggest Lamar Jackson fan, and the Steelers have a better defense than the Ravens.
And to answer that question, that's the reason, though. It's the Ravens defense. I'm not putting the Ravens in the Super Bowl contender. I know Vegas will disagree with me, and a lot of people will disagree with me because we watched the Bengals-Ravens games twice now. Dude, you can't stop anybody. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are putting out insane numbers in 2 games. Now, they lost both those games, which is a whole Bengal thing. But do you see my point? Like, you can't stop good offenses. So I can't trust the Ravens with a defense like that. I want to bring up the going for 2 because I've had a few people DM me about that. And we just talked about this with the Bucs-Chiefs game. And people were saying, why would you go for 2 if you're Zach Taylor and you're the Bengals in that Thursday night game? I think for sure you go for 2.
Yeah.
Because who are you trusting? Your defense who can't stop Lamar, or Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase who are just crushing the Ravens defense all night? Now, look, there was clearly a face mask. There was a lot of missed calls in that game on that play in particular. I don't know why he's throwing it to a tight end, though. I don't know why I don't know if you've seen every single thing is saying you have Jamar one-on-one. Like, just throw him the freaking ball, man. Just throw him the ball.
I don't understand. And I will say this this is my 2-point, especially when you're in the 2-point going for the win, 2-point going for the tie, 2-point, like, or you know, the 1-point gets you a tie, the 2-point gets you a win, whether that be in the 14-point situation where you pull within a touchdown and you're going, you know, you have this insane analytic thing where you're going to have 2 of them, or just the one at the end of the game. Run, pick, play, and if it gets called for offensive pass interference, kick it. There is no rhyme or reason to when NFL referees do or do not call offensive pass interference on pick plays. There is absolutely no standard for it whatsoever. The Patriots, and you can talk about their coaching and whatever, I do not believe that Bill Belichick coaches guys to get in the way of other players better than other teams. I believe that referees respected Bill Belichick. So when he needed a fucking 4-yard play, historically, here's a guy getting wide open because some receiver you've never heard of comes on a slant, and then Wes Welker or Julian Edelman or whoever sneak out into the flat, or Rob Gronkowski sneaks out into the flat on some sort of fucking pick play. You give yourself like a 90% success rate if they don't call it. And then if they do call it, oh, well, backfired. Now we kick. We move back 10 yards. Now we kick a chip shot field goal for the tie, and we take our chances in overtime. Run the fucking dude. Teams can't stop the pick play when they know it's coming. The only way it gets stopped is when the NFL randomly, for no reason, decides, nah, we didn't like that one.
So here's an interesting stat for everybody. And it's such a decline from last year. Since they reinstituted the 2-point conversion in 1994, this is the lowest conversion rate ever since the reinstitution. It's down to 32% on 2-point conversions. Last year was the peak highest ever, 55. So it's dropped off 23% to an all-time low on 2-point conversion rates. So teams are doing a lot wrong this year, and they're going for it a lot more. Now in that instance, I think, again, we agree. You're 6-point underdogs. You're on the road. You're in a shootout. You don't want to give them the ball in overtime. Run a better play, or, again, it sucks because there was blatant face mask. There was blatant penalty against the Bengals. So that's obviously a discussion, which we say all the time. I don't know how the refs miss that. Stop paying lawyers. Stop paying accountants. Make it a full-time position.
I don't even know. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but how much does help? Also, just make everything reviewable, especially on a fucking 2-point conversion, especially on any scoring play, any whatever. Like, it's under 2 minutes, obviously. I like that they do. I like that they do the thing now, like within the game. You don't have to use a challenge if it's blatant, but now within 2 minutes, they can still, like, there's no. It's just fucking. Just get the calls right.
Yeah. And I've never seen anything like like this Bengals team, by the way, it's like a Drew Brees 7-9, 8-8 Saints team, like mid 2000s or something.
The Bengals?
Oh yeah, you can't stop anybody, but your offense is going to be insane.
Yeah.
Defense matters, guys. Defense matters.
Some would say it wins championships.
Yeah. Some would say that. And that's why I don't trust Baltimore as well. I just, you're halfway into the season, and my thing is you got to have a better defense. If you haven't figured it out yet, when are you going to figure it out? I mean, they were showing, it's funny, they were showing stats last night or yesterday. I'm watching that Chargers game. And you're like, dude, entering that game, Justin Herbert has 10 touchdown passes. He's only thrown 1 pick. But they're the number 1 point per game defense. They're giving up the fewest amount of points. And you're just like, you and I we talked about identity and in the long run. And I just look at them and I say, okay, I don't think the Chargers are winning a Super Bowl this year. They're probably a borderline cusp playoff team. But in the long run, they've already changed the blueprint of that team. And I trust them in the long run better than a Bengals team. Sorry. We say 3 things: coach, defense, quarterback. Well, it seems like the Chargers have all 3 now already in 1 year.
Yeah.
You got to have at least 2 of the 3 to make a deep playoff run.
Well, the Bengals have the coach and the quarterback.
The quarterback.
Got it. Like, just reconfirming. Just because the guy makes a Super Bowl doesn't mean you believe in him.
Did you see? You probably didn't see. This was a Cincinnati thing. Did you see by any chance what his wife posted on Instagram Live during that game?
Who?
Zach Taylor's cringe.
No.
Let me pull it up here. Where is it? I know it's somewhere. I know I sent it to some buddies, and I'm like, dude, how mad is he Where is the okay, here it is. She posted this on Instagram story. I am in rage mode right now and should delete Instagram. I just want people to know how
Stop
hard
right
this
there. If that's the beginning of your thing, this is not going to, like, I should delete Instagram, but I'm not. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Does this turn into some like
wait until you hear this.
whiny Bengals, the league's out to get us?
No, to me it's even worse. I just want people to know how hard this is to watch. It's the woe is me, by the way. Listen to this. So again, this is Thursday night at the very end of the Ravens game. My husband went to work on Monday at 5:15 a.m., spent the night at the stadium, came home Tuesday at 11 p.m., left for Baltimore Wednesday, and will get home at 4 a.m. Tomorrow he'll work all day. He'll work all day tomorrow because they have a game Sunday, which no, they don't. They just played Thursday. So I don't know why she said that. My kids haven't seen him since Sunday. He had
Nobody cares.
I know. He had the perfect game plan. Brooks was mad at me, I guess that's one of their kids, for watching the last
Of course
play
it was.
with my head under the covers. And I said, I'm sorry. People will say stuff to me at everywhere I go for the next week. And he said, me too, Mom, get over it. I don't know how these coaches and players do it.
Cut to the scene in Brooks's room where he is carved Brooks was here into the walls and hung himself from the rafter.
I don't know how these coaches and players do it, but the best thing I can do is move on like them. So there's a lot to break down there. One, here's the thing. No one's coming up to you. I don't know who Zach Taylor's wife is. I have no clue. But I'll tell you this. I know exactly. They live about 10 minutes away from me. I know exactly where they live. I know exactly the schools his kids go to because I used to coach against his son. It's a very nice area, a very well-to-do area. No one's coming up to you at the local Kroger. No one is. You're full of it. No one's coming up to you. Secondly, I want to say this is what you sign up for. I think we both.
Do you remember? You might be too young for it. Do you remember when we were kids and Don Shula's wife, posted put an article, wrote a column, like an opinion column in the Miami Herald or whatever it was?
Wait, so his name was Don and her name was Donna?
Yeah. You remember this?
No, I don't know if I do.
Yeah, because it never happened. Wives just shut the fuck up and let their husbands coach. I was Bill Belichick even married? Is Bill Belichick was he a gay man before this 14-year-old girl? Was Bill Parcells even, did he go other places than just was he a football robot that just went into a pod at the end of the day and recharged and came out? Shut the fuck up.
So she's complaining again. I think this is all BS.
I should delete Instagram. You shouldn't even have Instagram.
Yeah.
You're a football coach's wife. Be fucking seen and not heard.
Well, there's so much of this. One, she's complaining. Zach Taylor makes $4.5 million a year. Lady, he does work a lot, I'm sure. He also gets probably half the year off, almost, at least 4 months of the year. My point is, it's what you sign up for. But here's what's crazy. Do you know who her dad is?
No. How in the world would
I
know who her dad is?
Her dad's the former Packers coach, Mike Sherman, who coached, I think, for 5 years in the 2000s. But my point is, Joe, she grew up. I'm pulling up Wikipedia. She grew up. Her dad, she knew the drill. Mike Sherman literally was a coach for.
Listen, I'm not saying, you're saying, oh, no one's going to say something. Somebody's going to say something to her.
Okay, maybe somebody will.
Okay, listen, this happens, right? It's tough being the wife of a coach. It's tough being the kid of a coach. It's tough being, well, why'd your dad go for 2? She just fucking kicked it. Brooks should be the head coach of the Bengals. Brooks is the only person in the fucking family who's not a fucking pussy. Brooks should be the one who's like, oh, we're going to go for 2. We're going to run it down their throats. I'm not a bitch like my mom. I get it, but like you said, you signed up for this. This is something that's happened to me in fucking relationships 1,000 times where it's like, you're always on the road. You're always coming home late at night. Yeah, you didn't fucking decide to date an accountant. All these girls are following you on Instagram. Yeah, I go in front of large groups of people, and then I make them laugh, and then those people know my name. Like, it's insane to do this. Also, just like, dude, Matthew Stafford's wife, fucking Patrick Mahomes' wife, Bill Belichick, you are not allowed to embarrass me on social media.
Well, and that's what I wanted to bring up as well. I'm sure we
haven't heard a lot from fucking Aisha in a decade now. Steph Curry was like, I'll send your ass back to whatever fucking North Carolina suburb I found you in. You don't get to go. The daughter's coming up to the podium. You're not going up. You don't get to talk anymore. Stop fucking Instagram storying things. Also, the cryptic, not so cryptic, like the Instagram story crying. It's like everything that's wrong with society.
Well, it's just you're only making your life worse for your husband. You think that's going to help him feel better after his team just lost by a point, and he is on the flight and he's like, "Oh my God, what did she say?"
Yeah, now he has to deal with that. He didn't have to deal with it. He didn't have to deal. Oh, I'm going to get taught. She's like, I'm going to get talked to. 2 people are going to come up to you at Kroger during the week. 2 people. Also, your husband makes $4.5 million. You can send somebody to Kroger, right? Yeah. I don't even do my own grocery shopping, and I'm broke. Like, I have Raul, the fucking Uber Eats guy, deliver. So what the fuck? Why are you acting like you got to go to the butcher and take a number? But not only that, but way, way, way less people are going to come up to you in public this week than people inside the Bengals organization are going to talk to your husband. President of football, owner, GM, your wife with the Instagram? You what? He's like, I know. I fucking know.
It's embarrassing, man. It's so embarrassing. It's next level cringe. All these women. Yeah, Kelly Stafford, Matthew Stafford's wife. You know, and I've said this, like, you have a podcast? Please come down. Break down for me, Kelly Stafford, all the football insights you have for just marrying a football star. Like, what are you bringing to the table? It's cringe, man.
Yeah.
It's just next level cringe.
Yeah, I don't know how to break it to some of these women, but football knowledge can't be injected into you via jizz.
I mean, if that was the case,
yeah,
gay, right?
Yeah,
I'd be gay on TV. Hey, can we talk about the Cowboys for a minute?
Sure.
Jerry Jones said he will not fire Mike McCarthy midseason.
Yeah, Jerry Jones has never made a correct decision since he fired Jimmy Johnson.
They are so bad. They're so bad now.
I feel like, remember when everybody used to joke, oh, you need like a 12-year-old kid who plays Madden all day to do your time management skills. It's crazy to me, but I feel like I should be the Harvey Keitel in Pulp Fiction of NFL franchises, where they're like, we have a dead body of a team here. And then I show up in a fucking suit. Pretty please. With a cherry on top. Don't overpay your fucking quarterback. Every team. Oh my God. Our team's a disaster because we gave $500 million to a guy that everybody agrees was mediocre.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to have a discussion about these quarterbacks. You have Trevor Lawrence, who might miss the rest of the year, who's just, it seems like he's regressed every year since they made the playoffs and won a game. You have Dak Prescott. We could go through all the other major quarterback deals, and obviously there's Kyler Murray, and there's Burrow and
Jordan Love,
Jordan. I mean, yeah, there's so many. Jordan Love,
Jalen Hurts.
Herbert. My point is, a lot of these guys, man, I think there's gonna be a correction. If you're not winning it's all that matters is playoff games. And Dak
Didn't
and Trevor,
I called this last year.
there
I might have
has to
called
be. There
I
has to be.
might have called it 2 years ago. I said, the way the Niners are run, are they the first franchise to go? Just no. Just no. We're not going to.
And again, there's a difference between paying your quarterback and then resetting the market. Now, you have a lot to go against. You have the agents who are very powerful. You have the NFL Players Association. So you have forces going against each other on this. But at a certain point, all these guys are basically examples for the owners to use. If I'm running a team and you haven't won a playoff game, it's tough to really throw you just throw it to you. Like, why am I giving you all this money? I mean, the Dak deal is just, it's head scratching. We knew what he was. Everybody knew what he was.
This is the second time they paid him. What did he do the first time you paid him?
I know. I mean, look, Dallas is such a mess. You have the sun coming in. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. And the receiver can't even see the ball. They have curtains.
They don't have curtains, do they?
They do have curtains.
They have curtains?
Yeah, they opted not to have the curtains out.
Huh. Well, that explains this. I don't know if you saw this, but this is from @Cowboys Curtains. It's an Instagram story. They're defending themselves.
I didn't see that. What did they say?
Yeah, they're like, this is something I really shouldn't say, considering my place in this historical organization. I should probably just delete my Substack right now. They posted it on Substack, which is great. If you want to follow @Cowboys Curtains on Substack. I told Jerry Jones this morning, you're going to need me today. He gave me a weird naval salute and said, we're good. He then walked off, double fisting McDonald's breakfast sandwiches, an assistant in tow with a giant shaker of salt. Okay. I said, Jerry, before you go, you just have to know this is an afternoon game. I am here if you need me. And Jerry said, we will not be using you today, and you will be down next year entirely. We cannot afford curtains with what we are paying Dak Prescott. And that's when I knew this Cowboys team was done today. I mean, it's a sad story from @Cowboys Curtains. They have to deal, they're going to take a lot of the heat this week walking around supermarkets in greater Dallas at the, I don't know, Walmart or Big Lots or whatever there is in Dallas. Certainly not the Whole Foods or the Trader Joe's. But you got to feel bad for these curtains. They're getting blamed, and it's just like they weren't used. Jerry's just got to use them.
Okay, now maybe there isn't curtains. I know I saw pictures where they were showing curtains.
I don't think there's curtains.
There's no curtains. And we're talking about curtains on a goddamn stadium.
Yeah.
This is the state of the Cowboys. We're debating, do they or don't they have curtains? And their star wide receivers talking about it. And Jerry Jones is defending the situation because of curtains. This is like an argument I have with Brittany. Like, why close the curtains? There's too much sun coming in here. Like, we're talking about a football stadium and curtains.
Is it possible that they cannot afford curtains because they're paying Dak Prescott?
Dude, he just needs to die.
Nah, what are you talking about? He needs to be their owner forever. Let's go.
And I was reading an article. They've lost the cachet for the ratings for the Cowboys. It's taken forever, but the Chiefs are America's team. Now I know you would say, well, everybody knows that, but ratings wise now too. Nobody's watching Cowboys games like they used to. They used to still be ratings blockbuster because they would really shove it down our throats, right? And you had to watch them obviously on big games like Thanksgiving. It's the Chiefs now, man.
Listen, I grew up rooting for Notre Dame football. I'm by no means like a crazed Notre Dame fan or anything like that. But I imagine that when you look at their ratings, it's completely different than it was when it was every week, the SEC's on CBS and the Big 12's on ABC, and just Notre Dame is NBC. Like the NBC's college football coverage was just Notre Dame. Now there's you can watch the Big Ten network, the Longhorn network, this network, the Maction network, the whatever. I'm assuming Notre Dame's ratings are nothing like they once were, but the idea that you can red zone it and you can whatever, and it's not just you have to eat the pile of shit that is the NFL game of the week that Jerry Jones has essentially bought his way into. You're just like, all right, cool. I'll just stream this other game. I didn't watch Cowboys Eagles yesterday, even though it was the game on.
By the way, they do have curtains.
They do have curtains.
So I just I gotta get to the bottom of this. Curtains have been used during other events at the stadium or basketball games. So curtains are available. But Jerry Jones' response was, everybody's got the same thing. Every team that comes in here has the same issues. They know where the sun's going to be. Every team has the same thing. That was his response.
By the way, this is just Jerry Jones being straight up stupid. This is a stupid situation in the first place.
That's all so stupid.
Every single baseball stadium that exists in Major League Baseball, the home plate and center field are north and south from each other. Every single one. Why? Because you can't have the sun coming up or going down in your eyes as a fielder or as a fucking hitter. So it crosses over the stadium perpendicular. Jerry Jones, well, it'll be great. The Texas sun be coming through the windows. It'll be great. It'll be great. It'll be a crispy golden yellow, much like the burn on that perfect McGriddle. You ever? That's what I want. That's what I want. I want those. I want a McGriddle colored sun shining through those windows. When you're on the field, when you're a player on the field, I want it to feel like you're just gently being warmed by the sun, as if you are a McGriddle waiting to be ordered under the red lamp of a McDonald's.
Apparently, reading more. This has apparently been an issue since they opened the stadium in 2009. The fact that Jerry Jones refuses to budge, and it's so funny to me. I mean, these quotes from him, we're fine, but everybody plays in the sun out here. It's just like, but why? It doesn't have to be that way. He got mad. He said, well, let's just tear the damn stadium down and build another one. You kidding me?
Or just put up curtains.
Bro, just put up curtains.
Listen.
Just put up curtains.
In my house where I live, the way we have positioned everything, right? In the morning, if I get up to watch the 10 a.m. football game, there's a very small, there's like, a regular old standard window that is behind me on the couch. And now to the right of where I sit on the couch, there's literally 50 windows. There's a whole wall of windows. So when we chose where we were going to position the couch, we were like, let's not have that behind us. All the windows will have to be closed or else we'll have glare. But we get up in the morning, we open all of those 50 window curtains. The sun pours in from the side of our house. But when I watch 10 a.m. football, the one window behind me has to have a blind closed or else I have glare on the TV. At no point was I like, let's demolish this house and rebuild it without that one window there. At no point was I like, let's take down just that one wall. At no point was I like, let's brick up that window. I just closed the blinds. The rest of the fucking place, sun pouring in from every angle but that one. It's insane.
It's insane that we're even having this discussion. Which, again, it goes back to my point. I've said all along, I don't think he cares. He got his 3 titles early as an owner. I have not thought he cared about actually winning. It's more that they just churn out money.
I think he does care about winning.
You think he does?
I think he has no idea how to win. I think he would be better off. What happened was he came in, he turned the football team over to somebody who understands football. That guy won a bunch of Super Bowls, and they was like, this is easy. Just put the McGriddles wherever you want. Windows here, McGriddles there. Who wants money to be a quarterback? You could be a quarterback. He just doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Well, it's a Nepo operation. It's his whole family. I mean, even his crazy daughter is so in charge. Sadly, I had to deal with the background noise of the Dallas Cowboy cheerleader show on Netflix, and his daughter is so like, it's such a big deal running the cheer. I'm like, you guys care about the cheerleaders still? We're like, it's 2024, and the Cowboys care so much about the goddamn Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Like, this isn't 1988, man. Nobody cares. Have you seen Instagram? There's girls shaking their ass literally on every other page.
Yeah.
You guys are stuck on the cheerleader thing?
Cheerleader, like the cheerleader fetish has got to be like, I don't even know if it's top 50 anymore if you went to Pornhub or something like that. Like cheerleader.
Oh, no.
You got Asians, you got stepmom, you got Asian stepmoms, like you got teen, barely legal, you got BB whatevers, you got BBLs, BBCs, you got BBDs, you got BBFs,
BW3s,
BBWs, yeah.
Is the Buffalo Wild Wings fetish higher?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Buffalo Wild Wings fetish, absolutely. Where guys about to come, and then all of a sudden they ask the bartender, like, any way you can make this go overtime? And he hits a little button. Yeah, we could probably handle that.
I think he just wants to make money. I just think Jerry Jones wants to make money. That's all he cares about. Which is crazy because
you make more money when you win.
Yeah, but like it's weird. The NFL owners are tough because
let me ask you something, Andy. If all he cared about is making money, and the Cowboys kind of sell themselves, and they're America's team, and they're always going to have the game of the week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is he giving Dak Prescott $500 million of his money?
Oh, that's a good question.
He's not. He's giving it to him because he thinks he gives him a chance to win, and he's dumb for that.
He's 82. Man, these dinosaur owners. Well, good luck out there, Cowboys fans, because it's I don't think it's gonna get any better anytime soon. So the Colts, they went to Flacco. They've sucked since they got on the Flacco. Are they going to go back to Richardson?
I don't know or care. I think like I'm so off the Colts. I just think that was such a ridiculous drama. That was a less. That was a more created drama than Zach Taylor's wife's Instagram. I watched Saquon Barkley ask himself out of the game yesterday. I don't think they're benching him for it. It's one of the most insane things of all time.
Do you think it was? I don't think it was just that though.
That was the excuse though, right?
I don't know. Was that the exact excuse?
I don't know if that's it, but it's like they were like, how does that, Pat McAfee's talking about it, all the things we're talking about. They got a free pass to bench him. I'm not saying Anthony Richardson is their quarterback of the future. I just think it is insane. You brought Joe Flacco in to back him up. You weren't terrible. It wasn't
there. Yeah, I mean they were.
It wasn't Bryce Young being replaced by Andy Dalton because they hadn't won a game.
Are you hoping the Giants get the number 1 pick?
Yeah. Not only am I hoping the Giants get the number 1 pick, I'm hoping Archie starts soon. I hope Archie starts his NFL draft tampering and gets Arch to. I hope he literally goes to the New York office and sucks off Roger Goodell and has him change the rules so that Arch can declare this year.
They're gonna fire Dable, aren't they?
I don't know at this point. I wish things are so bad. Things are so bad that I can't even send texts about it. I can't ask. I can't really take a temperature about what's going on. I'll tell you one thing. Thank God they lost. I'm sick of picking 6th. If you're going to be bad, be fucking bad.
Yeah, I mean, you lose into the Panthers. Not good. I mean, it's going to be a dogfight for that number 1 pick.
Yeah.
But that's a huge tie-breaking. That's a huge tiebreaker.
And then who's the number 1 pick? Is it the kid from Miami? Is it Shedeur Sanders? I don't know what you know about the New York Giants, but I don't see him picking either of those guys.
I don't know how I feel about Sanders.
Sanders comes in. He'd come in for the Giants. He'd be the greatest passer in NFL history through 13 games. He'd do a commercial, and they'd be like, "Really? You're doing commercials?" Then they trade him to the fucking Eagles.
Sanders has Raiders written all over him.
Yeah.
Doesn't he?
Yeah. But is Deion smart enough to know that's a bad idea? That's where now you're getting into a situation where it's like Deion gets it, right? Deion's like, you're not playing for the fucking Raiders. I'll tell you what Sanders has. Sanders has Cowboys written all over him. And they just put Dak Prescott. They tied Dak Prescott to a table in the middle of the field, and they let him burn like he's an ant under a fucking magnifying glass.
With the sun?
Yeah.
Sun coming in?
Yeah.
They time it right at the right time where the sun will be hitting.
It's like a scene at a fucking interview with a vampire. The sun just starts creeping up over that window and he starts burning alive.
Oh, man. They're not going to have a number 1 pick, though. That's the thing. The Cowboys, they're not going to lose enough games.
How many wins they have? 3?
There's 3.
They're 1 game off.
Let me see. Let's see who the draft order would be today. Right now, it'd be. There's a website, tankathon.com. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Jacksonville will be number 1, then the Giants, then Tennessee, then Cleveland, then the Raiders, Dallas is the 11th pick right now, man. Yeah, they'd have to
lose the rest of their games.
They'd basically have to lose the rest of their games.
Well, Dak's out. They scored 6 points yesterday.
They went to their third stringer. They went to Trey Lance, who looked terrible too.
Yeah. They should go to their fourth stringer next week. Quad Lance.
No, I think they should put in one of the Jones kids at this point. Stephen Jones.
Marvin Jones.
Mark Jones. No, they should put in Jerry Jones, his illegitimate daughter that he still isn't claiming, but paid for her entire college tuition, bought her a Range
Bridget
Rover.
Jones.
Yeah, Bridget. Bridget Jones. They should play her. I think she's British, actually, isn't she?
Yeah, yeah. And her paternity tests came back. Now, she was keeping a record of her relationship with Jerry her whole life. It was in her diary.
That's correct. That's right. Was there anything you wanted to say about the NFL at this point? Where we're at?
What else? What did we miss? Or was there anything? Is there anything that I'm not hitting?
I don't know if there was anything like that's kind of all the things that I wanted to talk about just from my. Oh, I wanted to bring up the Bears.
The Bears.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
Like, are they about to, do their Bear thing to another quarterback?
Caleb Williams.
I'm just saying, Joe, they have 4 wins. Those wins are against the Titans, Panthers, Jags, and then they got to win against a Rams team that didn't have their top 2 receivers. My point is, like if you really look at the record, they're a shitty team.
Oh, I know. It's a little early to say that they're going to Bears the Bears, but like, I have news for all the fucking Bears fans that had a boner during. Head coach can't be Matt Eberflus.
Did you place a bet on that? What was the over under on wins?
I forget. It was
7.5.
Yeah, it was high. It might have been 8.
Well, I mean, look,
I'll have to check if I got that. I bet about 12 or 13 over unders for the season. I'll have to
look at this. Look at this remaining schedule. I'm saying, like what games are they? What game are they going to be a favorite in? At home against the Packers, at home against the Vikings, at the Lions, at the Niners, at the Vikings.
Well, they lost to the Patriots yesterday.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Lions, Seahawks, Packers. They're not going to be a favorite in any of those games.
Yeah.
They got their ass kicked by the Patriots yesterday.
Let me ask you something, because you talked about the top heaviness. What's the lowest seeded team right now you think has more than a 0% shot to win the Super Bowl? Like, what team has like a 5% chance to win the Super Bowl or 2% chance to win the Super Bowl that isn't one of the
top 3 seeds?
Yeah, or just, I don't know how far, maybe it is one of the top 3 seeds. Maybe you're like,
well, the Packers are a 7 seed. There's one for me.
The Packers are a 7 seed. Okay.
Now the AFC, your bottom seeds, your non-division leading seeds are Ravens, Chargers, Broncos.
Yeah, and listen, I'm pulling it up now in terms of like
but you know what?
almost division seeds, like not even like. Let's just go with.
I believe in the people are going to think I'm crazy for this, and I don't care. I believe in the Chargers more than the Ravens because they can play defense.
Okay, so the Chargers right now are the 6th best team by record in the AFC.
Correct.
And the Packers, like you said, are the 7th best team by record. No, sorry, what are we doing here?
No, I'm just looking at the playoff standings. The Chargers are a 6th seed right now,
and the Chargers 1, 2, 3, 4 have the 5th best record in the AFC. And the Green Bay has the 5th best record in the NFC. It's a terrible way for them to rank this.
So I would do those two.
Okay.
Now, realistically, I only believe in the Packers have a potential shot.
because the Chargers have if the Chargers were in the NFC,
it'd be different.
Yeah.
I mean, again, playoffs. I believe in defense. It's proven time and time again. If you can, again, it's 3 things. We always says it's quarterback, coach, defense. The Chargers have all 3.
All right, let's do this quick. It's gonna be tough math, but I trust you to come close. So you have to fill out 100. There's 100%. There's only 100%. Take me through dole out your 100%. Detroit's chances of making the Super Bowl out of the NFC.
Out of 100%. 75.
Ooh, okay. So you got 25% to spread around for the rest of the NFC. Eagles?
I'll do Eagles 5%.
All right, you're at 80. Minnesota?
Packers 5%.
No Minnesota. Skipping
No
Minnesota?
Minnesota.
0%. Okay, so you're at 85 with the Packers. Washington?
I'll do Packers 10%.
Okay.
Sorry. Packers 10%, Eagles 5%, Niners 5%.
Okay. No Rams, no Seahawks, no. Okay. San Francisco 49ers? You said that.
Yeah, I had them at 5%.
AFC, what percent chance you give the Chiefs of making the Super Bowl?
70%.
Buffalo?
I'll do Buffalo 10%.
Okay, so you're at 80. Pittsburgh?
5%.
85. Baltimore?
5%.
90. Chargers?
I thought I was at 90.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I said. Chargers?
95. Chargers 5%.
95. And Houston?
5%.
And then no one else. You give no Denver, no Indianapolis, no Cincinnati. Everybody else.
Nope.
Yeah. Listen, I'm kind of right. I think you're pretty close.
Dude, if you can't get stops, like what are we doing here? I mean that Chiefs. Who's the last team that defense was really sus that won a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean the Chiefs, but
the Chiefs.
Yeah,
the Patrick Mahomes' first Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and then their D started getting good.
That's like what I was talking to a Philly fan the other day. He's like, you should be embarrassed as a Giants fan that we have Saquon Barkley. We're going to win the Super Bowl because we have Saquon Barkley. I go, cool. You'll be the first team that's paying a top 10 running back to win the Super Bowl since Marshawn Lynch and the fucking Seahawks. I guess it could happen. But historically, doesn't look good.
Yeah. Well, the Phillies play has a good D, though. You know what I'm saying? They do have a good D.
We'll see.
I mean, right now,
Phillies D is coming up.
We'll see. I'm saying right now they're tied for 5th and fewest points a game given up.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying.
They play the Commanders, the Rams, and the Ravens in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, so we're gonna
see how their D is.
We will for sure. I agree.
because they shut down the Cowboys and the Giants and the Browns.
They did good against the Bengals offense, who's been pretty good.
They gave up 33 points to the Bucs.
What's your schedule like right now?
What do you mean? Like, do I have to go?
Yeah.
No, not imminently. I get 10 minutes. My schedule is more determined on the fact that I have.
Do you want to do a quick call?
6% battery. Yeah, let's do a quick call and then get out of here.
You can handle 6%?
Yeah.
I'm saying this call isn't like time sensitive.
Let's do it. I have 6% on my computer. We could get 6. We can do it.
310-359-8365. That's a hotline. Remember, we talked about cats? We have a teacher calling in about cats.
Okay.
Kids and cats. This has been sitting there. All right. This is wild.
Hey, this is South Carolina Dirtball Jordan calling. I wanted to talk about kids shitting in litter boxes. I was a 5th grade teacher for 2 years, and I definitely had a student, a boy, who was my height. I'm 6'3", and I was looking eye to eye with this child who would wear kitten gloves, a tail, and a bell around his neck all day long at school. He was convinced he was a cat. I think it was more just like for fun, make-believe, whatever at recess for him, but poor guy. But anyways, the kids shitting in litter boxes. Litter boxes are in classrooms, but I know for a fact it's not because these kids who are cats. It's for school shooting kids. Our school was locked down several times, once about 4 or 5 hours due to a high school next door that had a gunman. Those kits have litter in them so that kids, if they need to use the restroom, can find a private corner of the classroom to do it in so that they're not wandering the halls while there's an active shooter or a lockdown. So until I see turds in litter in elementary school classrooms, like there's got to be a picture of that. Until I see that, I'm not buying it. Yes, there are litter boxes. Yes, kids are fucking stupid, but they're not shitting in litter boxes in class. I've got dozens of stories I'd be happy to share, but did want to shed some light on that. Condoms are for kids. They suck.
Condoms are literally for kids because they suck. That's an Andy Ruther. Condoms are for pussies. Condoms are because kids suck so hard. That call had a lot of twists and turns. First of all, the 5th grader who's 6'3" is probably going through a lot. every other 5th grader is 4'1", and he's 6'3". That kid's struggling. That kid's the cowardly lion. That's why he's fucking wearing a bell and a tail. He could be in a Broadway production of Cats, let alone being in a 5th grade. The litter box for school shooters thing is the craziest shit I've ever heard. And what's so funny is I have heard a lot about these litter box in classrooms, and it always came from some crazy conservative guy who's like, it's because all the kids want to be cats and shit in a box. Turns out it's the reverse. It's so fucking school shooters don't come in and kill people. Bananas.
I mean, there's a lot to this call. You have a 5th grader who's 6'3". What?
I'm at 2% now.
Okay. The 6th grader at 6'3". I don't know why he's being a cat. That's a whole. You need a therapist. Yeah, and then the litter boxes because kids need to go to the bathroom because they're in lockdown. That's insane too.
That's insane.
The truth is,
we're gonna break this down more next episode.
I mean, your computer. There's not enough to.
There's not. Yeah, 2% is not enough time to unpack all this. Follow me at Joe Prano on all social media. Twitter, I'm still at Fix Your Life. Follow me on my Substack page. If you're a free subscriber of the show or a paid subscriber of the show or whatever, follow us all across the things on Substack. I'm going to put up some more stand-up comedy on my Substack from a fun show I did up in San Francisco. So yeah, follow me there. I'll make that free for everybody. So yeah, give me a follow.
Cool. All right, guys, that's our show. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll be back on Friday. Have a great week. And as always, stay dirty.